we are live from the Boomerang at Letchworth Central School with Tristen Schwertfeger. Tristen, introduce yourself.
I'm
please.
Tristen Schwertfeger. I don't know. Just
nothing. Oh, you're too humble. Let's start with track. What events do you do in track?
I pole vault mainly. Sometimes I run 4x8, like I'm a backup.
The 4x8, is that a relay like sprint?
Yeah, it's mid distance. It's half a mile.
Okay.
You're probably running pretty fast.
So you run a half a mile, then the next person goes?
Yep, it's 4 people running a half mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you prefer running in a relay or running by yourself?
I guess it depends on the race. Like I'd rather run like an 800 or a half mile with a relay than just by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it pressure being like the anchor closing out the relay?
It definitely is, yeah, because you're trying to chase down the person in front of you, that team.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're upset.
Do you think that's the worst spot to be in, the anchor?
Yeah, that or the being first, just the first guy out.
You just want somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the middle that kind of goes unnoticed, but it's still important. Yeah, keep walking, Justin. Sorry, we've got a live audience here. Now, do you prefer pole vaulting or running?
Definitely pole vaulting. There's just so many aspects to it that the adrenaline pumping is very fun. And the community is so nice. You can ask all the really good – you'll go to meets and there'll be super good people there.
Yeah.
And they're so humble about like everything. It's so nice.
So it's like an open environment. You can talk to anyone. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
pretty sweet.
It can be awkward talking to opponents, but it's nice when they're still open.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you're all working towards the same goal. That's what you got to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's like we're opposing teams, but we want to help each other, see each other improve, meet by meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about this thing called a runner's high, where you just run and you're at the point where you feel like you're going to pass out, but you get a second wind. Have you ever experienced that? Because from my experience, I feel like it's made up, but I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good one. I don't run distance at all. I don't think I've ran that much to experience that. But I've heard about that too.
You're not like I bet David Goggins has gotten that. His life as a runner's high.
His 100-mile runs and stuff like that.
Now, on a rate of 1 to 10, how difficult would you say pole vaulting is?
Ooh, compared to like other events in track.
Yeah, yes.
I'd say it's like a 9.5.
A 9.5.
Yeah.
What are some of the aspects that go in that make it that difficult?
Well, from what I've researched and been told by coaches, is the run-up is 90% of the vault. So your speed and the takeoff and like that just has to be perfect. The way you hold your pole, it all determines how good your vault is going to be. And then once you do make it into the air, the pole starts to bend, which is such a crazy experience.
Yeah, that feeling. That must be wild being airborne up there.
Yeah. It springs you up and you're trying to swing your legs up to the top of that pole and you're turning at the same time. And it's super technical, but
there's a lot of form that goes into it.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different techniques that I've seen, but it's all like just trial and error. You got to figure it out on your own pretty much.
How do you get the pole to stick in the ground? Like, so it doesn't, because I would envision like trying to do it and the stick just slides forward. Is there like a rubber bottom or?
So there's what's called a butt to a pole.
Okay.
It's like a plastic kind of rubbery thing that puts the bottom of the pole. And then you plant the pole into a box. I think the box is like 4 inches into the ground. And it's slanted, so your pole will definitely fall into the box. So it's pretty safe.
Well, that's good to know. Sometimes it doesn't look very safe, but I bet if you're doing it right, it is safe.
Yeah. There's more and more safety hazard stuff that's coming in development.
Each year they advance it.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, speaking of injuries, how many injuries have you had in your career?
A lot of sprains.
A lot of sprains.
Luckily, never broken anything.
So nothing extreme, just the nagging, annoying stuff.
Yep. I did have the flu during sectionals and indoor, so I couldn't go to that.
That sucks.
That does suck.
That
yeah.
Running is running, and I'm sure pole vault are just a couple of things you can't really do when you're sick.
No, that was terrible.
Yeah. Now let's get into the school play.
All right.
You are a part of the school play production. You're doing Footloose this year.
Yep.
What is your role on the play?
I am Ren McCormick. He's
the guy. Right?
Yeah,
you're
something.
Kevin Bacon.
Hopefully. I can
Hopefully,
live up to his potential.
Again, playing it so humble.
Yeah, he's a kind of confident, almost cocky, but not too cocky, from Chicago, and going into this small town that doesn't allow dancing. And in Chicago, he danced all the time.
Yeah.
So it's very different circumstances than what he was used to.
And he tries to bring his culture to the town.
Yeah, he does. He does his best to convince the pastor of the local church, which he's like basically the mayor of the town, into changing the rules, because he thinks he's the guy that can change.
Yeah.
And I won't say too much because don't want to spoil it if you've never watched it.
How do you get in the mindset to play a character like that? Is it easy for you? Do you like see parts of yourself in him, or how do you get ready to be?
It's very like different by the minute, I guess, based on the scenes, because the scenes are so different. There's just a mental image and like of the voice in my head telling me like little notes here and there that the directors, like Lila, you had her last,
Yes,
and Miss Berg have, and all the rest of the directors obviously have given me to improve my inner Ren.
your inner Ren.
Yeah,
you gotta unleash your inner Ren.
It's definitely a challenge, because there's so many emotions that he feels throughout the play.
Yeah,
it's a little stressful.
It's a culture shock for him. It's got to be difficult to emulate that in the play.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you do any voice warm-ups? Anything specific?
Nothing specific. I guess we do a little singing warm-ups, and I do come from practice, so was just heavy breathing, so my lungs are expanded a little bit. And yeah, nothing specific, I guess.
Yeah, just go wing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wing it. That's good to not overthink it sometimes and just go for it.
Yeah, I tend to overthink things, so the less I think about it, the less nervous I'll get, I guess.
We've got another member of the audience walking down the stairs. But let's see where we were here. Your singing voice. You've people might not be able to know by hearing you, but you've got a very wide range in your singing voice. How do you maintain that?
I sing 24/7. I play music 24/7, so singing just comes along with that. I guess I just grew up with it. It's just, I don't know. I love it.
But what's your favorite band's the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right?
Yeah, of course.
But they don't sing very high. So what do you have, like Adam Levine mixed in there or something?
No, Anthony Kiedis, he's the singer. He's a tenor, and I'm a baritone, so he's a little bit higher than me.
Okay.
But that, I don't know. It's just, I guess, church too. Every time I go to church, we have our worship pastor. He sings way higher than I ever will. So I try to match his pitches, but that kind of helps.
So just constant practice. How about water? Do you need to drink a ton of water so your voice doesn't crack?
Oh, yeah. It definitely, voice gets very scratchy after singing for a while. And you get a little lightheaded if you're singing for too long.
Now, what is that like on the stage? Have you ever gotten lightheaded on the stage fright, anything like that?
Definitely lightheaded, especially for this play. There's a song that Ren sings. It's called "I Can't Stand Still," and as you can imagine, he doesn't stand still singing that song.
So you've got to dance and sing.
Yep, and there's some parts where I don't get some good deep breaths in between.
Yeah.
So by the end, I'm seeing stars a little bit.
Yeah, and there was one day where you had to do each song 3 times,
Oh.
correct?
Yeah.
How did you make it through that? And is it a relief going from listening to it or replaying it 3 times and then, okay, finally, it's one and done?
Yeah, I think it's like how you practice in any sport. You condition yourself, you condition your voice in this case, and the more you do it, the easier it kind of gets, I guess I would say. So it's definitely a lot easier from the doing it 3 times in a row to now just doing it once.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a method to the madness, I guess. You don't like it when you're in the middle of it, but whatever.
It's a lot of work.
Do you know what dates the play is?
I believe it's the
Dates and
22nd.
22nd.
Which is a Friday at 7:30. That's when it starts, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the 23rd at 7:30, which is a Saturday. That's when it starts. And Sunday the 24th at 12:30.
It is at 12:30?
Yeah.
I have here it starts at 2.
Oh,
that
might be 2.
That's all right.
I got to be there at 12:30.
You were 2 for 3.
Listen.
That is impressive. Off the top of your head, I've got to write this stuff down. You're just selling the play for me. So look at that. I repeat, show up to the school production of Footloose, Youth Footloose, Friday, March 22nd. The tickets are for sale at 7:05 p.m. Showtime is at 7:30. The same times for Saturday, March 23rd. Tickets at 7:05 p.m. Showtime at 7:30. And then March 24th, tickets for sale at 1:35 p.m. and the show starts at 2. But if you want to get more insight from Tristen, he will be here at 12:30.
2 hours earlier.
Now, tell people, my audience, that sounds possessive. Tell the audience, tell them why they should watch the play.
The whole cast and crew have spent tens of hours doing our best to perfect our rendition of Youth Footloose. And we're trying our best to put on the best shows possible. So just come for our sanity.
Come for their sanity and come for a good show. They've put in hours of work. You've heard it from now Lila Bailey and Tristen. They've put in a ton of work, and it's going to show. It'll be a fun time.
For sure.
All right, well, Tristen, thanks for being on the show, and now it's everyone's least favorite time, my unpaid plugs. Got crabgrass in your lawn? Head down to, call Greenwood Ecologics. Their phone number, 585-739-1610. While you're getting your lawn sprayed, you might not want to be outside while they're doing work on your lawn right next to the equipment. So why don't you listen to more episodes of the Derek Smith Spiel on Spotify? If this is a bit too bland for you, no problem. Watch the Dylan Smith's Outdoors podcast on Spotify. That is comedy gold. Into trading cards, why don't you go over to Derek Smith Stocks on Collects? There's a ton of good ones for sale there. But if you need a visual distraction, go onto YouTube and watch Dylan Smith's Outdoors on YouTube. And repeat, because this is the most important thing, watch the school play on Friday, March 22nd. Buy your tickets at 7:05 p.m. Showtime is at 7:30. The same times for March 23rd. Then Sunday, March 24th, tickets are for sale at 1:35 p.m. and showtime is at 2 p.m. Thanks for listening.